Hey, fellow guitar players, what's new and exciting? If you want to level up your game, I think you're going to want to hear this little story. So I was about 16 years old. I've been playing guitar for about 4 years and feeling pretty good about it too. I could shred along to Metallica. I could pick up songs by ear pretty easily. But I had a friend of mine who's a few years older than me. He was already out of high school. He's on his own. Phenomenal drummer, great musician. I really looked up to him. And he said, hey, you got spring break coming. You should come up and hang out with me. We'll hang out, we'll jam, we'll have a great time. I said, well, that's awesome. You know, I asked my folks, hey, can I go hang out with Brian for a week? They're like, cool. So I grab my guitar, pack up my bag, and go hang out with my friend Brian for a week. And one day we're in his studio and he's like, hey, I got this thing. I want to jam on this. This is a cool riff. And he takes this piece of music and he sits it in front of me. And he doesn't tell me what it is. And it's not the title page, so I don't know what it is. And he's like, yeah, man, this is a really cool riff. Let's jam on this for a little bit and see if we can come up with something different. And I'm looking at it like it's Chinese. I don't know what the fuck this is. And he's like, oh, all right, well, let's try another one. So he gives me another one. Same kind of thing. It's like page 2, page 3. He's like, this is a good riff too. And he's like, come on, man, what's going on? Like, can't you do this? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. He's like, but yeah, you know how to play this. And he turns the paper over, and it was a song I knew how to play backwards and forwards, but I couldn't recognize it on paper. So needless to say, I was a little embarrassed by my friend, right? Like, he kind of humiliated me there. But he looks at me and he says, dude, at 16 years old, you're better than some of the professionals that I work with now. He's like, but I can't hire you because you can't read. Now I'm 16 years old. I want to be a rock star. And if I can't be a rock star, then I want to be a working musician. So that's when I decided, all right, fine. I got to learn how to read music. Now, what you're probably thinking at this point is, okay, well, I don't want to learn how to read music and I'm not going to try to be a professional, so it doesn't really make any difference. Plus, there's a lot of professionals that don't know how to read. And that's probably true. But here's the thing. This is what I really want you to take away from this, is because what I learned by learning how to read music had more to do with how to visualize music. When I listen to a song, I can hear the rhythms and I know what they are. Because after all, what is reading music, right? That's looking at symbols that represent sounds. And if you can learn that vocabulary, when you hear something, you recognize it. Just like I'm sitting here talking to you, you recognize the words that I'm saying. It's the same thing with music. And when I was younger and I was learning how to play, I never put that together until my friend Brian humiliated me in a studio and made me see that this was a valuable skill that I needed to learn. Not so much because I was going to have to read music throughout my career. As a matter of fact, the higher I got in my career, the less I was required to read music. But because I had learned how to read music, I could visualize music. I could imagine it in my head so I could come up with cool musical stuff. So if you don't want to read music, that's cool. You can keep plugging along like you're doing and you'll probably see some progress. But I dare you to become a better musician and try to learn some of these skills.